do you want to start, though, Luke? With 3 games, of course, Friday night, big-time dub with Luzardo on the mound. Saturday, of course, didn't work out. 3-1 score. Dodgers are able to win there. Nola got to start there. And then yesterday, Sanchez gets to start. Phil's hang on. They win 8-7. Where do you want to start, sir? What was the most impressive thing from the 3-game series against the Dodgers for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think just showing that the Phillies are in this too. And it's not just the Dodgers where we don't have to watch the regular season and they're just going to go on to win everything. I think this was sort of a measuring stick series, I would say, for the Phillies. Just, to see how they can match up. But I think a lot of people going into this series, I don't think a lot of people thought they would win the series. I mean, obviously an 8-0 team heading into Citizens Bank was supposed to be a tough series. And it's not like it was easy.
No.
But it was 3 competitive, extremely well played baseball games. And yeah, I mean, that first game Friday night was awesome. Luzardo looks incredible right now. He's around like 98 first inning right now. He looks really good. I don't think he got up to 96 in his whole Marlins tenure. And he's hitting right around 97, 98. He looks really good. JT Realmuto is inevitable. No matter what you say about him, if that guy's behind the plate, you have a chance. I mean, he showed that Friday night. I would have liked a little more. I think it added some drama that they had to review it, but man, if he threw Chris Taylor out instantly right there, I think that place would have absolutely exploded.
Sure.
But yeah, so bit of a rough one Saturday. But yesterday was really the game. Yesterday was the one where even in a game where you have a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, who is just a left-handed killer going up against Sanchez. And yeah, Hernandez may own Sanchez, but Sanchez owns Shohei Ohtani. I believe Shohei was 1 for 11 this series. He's now 4 for 21 in his career as a Dodger at Citizens Bank Park with 9 strikeouts. I don't know if this guy has the yips at the bank. I don't know what's going on. But we have Shohei's number right now at the bank. But I think it was just a big series to get a lot of the fan base back in. And not that everybody was completely out. But I think after how you lost last year, and there's a lot of people this offseason where it's just, I don't care. They have to do something better. Just get me to October. Nothing matters. Well, taking 2 of 3 from an 8-0 Dodgers team matters. And yeah, I know it's only April 7th. We have a long ways to go. There's 153 baseball games left before the playoffs start.
When you put it like that,
there's 153. Basically, right now, I believe it sort of matches up to like we're not even through week 1 of the NFL season if you compared it to the NFL season. So there's a lot of time.
That's not going to stop Philadelphia from panicking, though.
Oh, right? Not at all. But to see them go out and compete and battle, and it's not just like they went out and beat up on bad starters like they did last year versus the Dodgers.
Oh.
They beat Yamamoto, and they absolutely made Tyler Glasnow spiral yesterday in the 3rd inning. So it was a very competitive series that I think will go a long way for this team and the fan base.
Luke, I think that's a great point where you're saying the fan base is bought in, because I think going into the season, it was like, all right, this team is still very talented. You bring most of the guys back, so everyone's excited about the Phillies. But it wasn't after how the last 2 seasons ended. There wasn't as much excitement because they knew the divisions got a lot better. The Mets got better, even though the Braves are starting out, I believe 1-8 they are right now. They still presumably will be in the race. Yeah. The Dodgers coming in with the shortest World Series preseason odds since 2003, and they're stacked with talent. So it's like, all right, like, can this team really compete among the best in the National League? And then you have a series like that where you take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers, and especially at home, because you see the bank is back to being electric.
Yeah,
I think that's a great point where it's like people can now realize, all right, this team is good enough to actually compete and win a World Series. Again, we're talking about April baseball here, but I think that still matters for the fan base. Absolutely. With all that said, though, let me ask you something as a big-time Phillies guy, very casual baseball fan. I'm still watching the NBA over baseball right now, so have it on a second, third TV if I can.
Godspeed.
But let me ask you this, Luke: why am I seeing so much negativity still? Can you answer that, or is that just Philadelphia?
People are idiots.
I think. Well, yeah. One, people are idiots.
About
people
what's
are
there to be
idiots
negative about?
because they're not 9-0. That's why people are negative. They're not 9-0, and they won't finish 162-0. No, I think if there was a place to not necessarily be concerned, but maybe start to raise the flag a little bit, I would say it's the bullpen depth, especially with what you're getting right now from Jordan Romano.
Is it Romano or Romano?
I don't know. I don't really know. It's Romano. All right, Jordan Romano.
Kathy Romano is on a different radio station.
All right, you don't know what you're getting from Jordan Romano.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, I do know this much. He stop him with the light introduction, leaving the bullpen if he's going to give us that type of outing. All right,
now,
no more
lights for the ninth. Lights are only for the ninth.
All right.
But no, I mean it's the matter of really what you get from him and what ends up happening there. And once again, if you go 7-2 and you have to say it's early, if you have a bad start from a player, you have to also say it's early there. I don't think the guy's completely cooked, but there's definitely some concerns. Rob Thompson was concerned a bit yesterday with just like the fluctuation in his velocity right now. There's times where he's up to 95 and there's times where he's down to 91. And he's not locating the ball well. He said yesterday that one of his biggest challenges right now is his slider's not working great because his fastball isn't working great. So like if his fastball isn't sitting 96, then there's not that difference with the slider. So that's kind of where they need to check some things out. It seemed like they sent him to the trainers and there wasn't anything wrong. So they don't really know what is up there. That for me, I would say is really the only sort of concern right now. Everything else is, good. They're 7-2. They have one of the best walk and strikeout rates in the league. What everybody cried and screamed and complained and asked them to do for 6 months in the offseason, they're doing well throughout the first 9 games. They're walking a ton. Max Kepler is on pace for 140 something walks. He's walked 170 times combined in the last 4 years. So that is nice to see. This team's walking a lot. They're getting on base. So not many complaints right now.
I saw their chase rate is really down, best in the MLB, which is awesome to see because that's something coming off the last 2 seasons that everyone wanted them to work on. Not to keep with the negativity, Luke, but to keep with the negativity. You're right that it's early, but this is a guy I think people wanted to see get off to a fast start early based on how last season ended, and that's Alec Bohm. What's going on with Alec Bohm? He wasn't even in the lineup yesterday in that 8-7 win. What's going on with Alec Bohm?
Women, weaken
I wasn't going to go there.
Women weaken legs, boy.
What's happening with Alec Bohm?
Yeah,
I did stare and don't take the under on 1.5 bases for him.
Had to. It's a lot.
No way. Did you really?
No, I'm joking.
I was gonna say that'd be crazy.
I think it's like, so is it like in her contract that she like can't bet or she can't announce any Bohm bets? Like it has to be, right? Like there's no way.
All standards have been thrown out the window. We're now giving interviews in locker rooms while we're sitting on players' laps. There's no standards. Yeah, everything is out the window these days.
All of a sudden, she has under 1.5 bases and he has 4 bats, and he doesn't. And he doesn't swing at one pitch all day.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on with Bohm. I think it's a mix of just getting off to a bit of a slow start and a mix of right now, Edmundo Sosa deserves his job.
Hell yeah.
Right now. And that's not really saying the entire season because I love Edmundo Sosa. He's a great player. I don't think he's a starter on a championship team. I think he's a very, very, very good bench player that can play maybe 3 times a week. I think there's a reason that he probably hasn't gotten a job to play 140, 145 games somewhere. But if you have a guy like Sosa, who's, just crushing the ball right now, that's a guy you have to get in the lineup. And if it comes at the expense of Bohm, who has like a 450 OPS to start the year, then I guess that's probably what you're going to have to do. I will say this: it's not going to be like a Bohm is losing his job outright to a Mundo Sosa. That's not going to happen. I would be shocked if Alec Bohm wasn't in the lineup tomorrow. I will say tomorrow seems like a situation where we could see our first Mundo Sosa start in center. Pitching matchup versus the Braves is Zach Wheeler versus Chris Sale, 1 and 2 in Cy Young. That's going to be an awesome one tomorrow night. But that's a game where I think you could see Rob Thompson have Sosa in there because it's a lefty in center. He said yesterday that he's officially at the point where if there's a lefty on the mound, he is willing to start Sosa in center. So maybe that could be that spot, and not Marsh out there. Yeah, I mean, as far as the Bohm thing, I think it's just a bit of a mix of a rough start and a really nice one for Mundo Sosa.